Average Woodsman here, back with another video. So today I wanted to show you guys a cool survival bushcraft hack. Could even be used especially in an emergency. If you don't have a tarp or a poncho, like a military style poncho with tie outs or grommets, you're going to be searching for ways to set that up as a sheltering device in really bad weather. So this is something that I use or have used in the past that works really well, and you can make this out of just wood and whatever cordage you have. I use bank line. You don't have to use bank line, but it works really well and it's very useful. And basically the premise of it is almost like a safety pin. This pivots or hinges on this piece in between, this toggle back here, to push down into it, forcing these two pieces, these lips, to attach to whatever type of sheltering device you have, whether that be a heavy metal trash bag, like an SOL space blanket that doesn't have the grommets or tie outs. You could even use it on a regular tarp if you had to. So yeah, it's just a really cool item. I'm going to show you guys how to build one. It doesn't take very long, it only takes a few minutes, a little bit of basic carving, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and get in the video. Alright, so basically you're going to need a couple items. You're going to need the initial portion. You're going to need a good knife, a saw. I'm just using my Silky Big Boy, because you're going to want to cut a couple pieces, or you're going to need to cut a couple pieces to make this, this device. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to actually split this, and this is another reason why it's important to have a robust knife, because of the simple fact that you may or may not have to do something like this in an emergency. Is it going to happen? Maybe not, but maybe so. So having something like this to be able to split this piece of wood down so you can make this is important. For any of you guys wondering, this is my LT Wright. This is the boat tail A2 tool steel. Once you baton this piece down, just figure out which side is which here. I'm probably going to go with this side. And then I'm going to just kind of, actually, I might do this side instead. I think I'm actually going to do this side. So I'm going to just kind of chamfer this edge using my knife. Just chamfer this edge down. And clean this up a little bit. Make sure it's nice and flat. Remember, you want this to get as much, have as much surface area as possible, because this is what's going to be grabbing onto whatever shelter item you have. You want it to be nice and flat. Do the exact same thing to the other side. Chamfer the edge. Flatten that out, make sure it's nice, and you want to get a nice, tight, really good. That's perfect right there. Same thing that I did to my initial piece. I'm going to chamfer the edges on this as well, so that way when I push this in, it slides in correctly and gets creates a lot of pressure, which is what's gonna hold those two pieces down once I tie everything together. So I'm gonna do the same thing to these, just chamfer this all the way around. Same thing on the other end. chamfer this portion. Honestly, this is a good kind of project. You know, not only are you developing your skills, but you're also working on your knife skills. You're developing another type of emergency item that you could use, or emergency tool to have in your tool shed. So it's always good to do this kind of stuff. Plus, it helps with your knife skills, which is always good to have. You need to get out and do and put in the dirt time and practice the things that you like with the items that you use, whether that be your knife or your other gear. Now this is where I'm going to go ahead and put these two pieces together. I'm going to tie them together. First, I need to grab some sort of something to go in between it. Put me down another piece here, split it, carved it so it's relatively flat. This is going to go in between here, like so, which this is going to pivot on, which is going to create that motion that we want. Like this. I'm going to take my bank line here and I'm going to do a whipping knot. You guys have seen this in lots of other videos. If you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you guys have seen this in other videos. You're going to make a loop here. I'll show it again. You're going to make a loop here like that. You're going to start wrapping. Make sure this is nice and doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going for perfect, but you do want this to be tight because this does need to hold. One more. Put this through this little loop right here. You guys can see it. Comes through that little loop right there. Just like that. And then you're going to pull this portion tight. Just going to lock it in. Now I'm able to pivot that. Creates that tension. This is where you would take, and this pivots now, so I would take this portion and put this on here. I do need, so I have my toggle right here and I have this. All I need is one more thing, and I'm going to show you guys what that is right now. I have a loop right here of some bank line. I just tied this together, overhand knot, and then I tied these two pieces together, which secured that down. Now I have this. This is going to go through here, through the front portion, over the top of these two, just like this, just like that. So now this is going to rest in here. This will be what my main line attaches to. So whether that would be more bank line, paracord, whatever I have, cordage, this is what will attach to whatever tree I'm attaching my shelter, my makeshift shelter item to. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'm not going to set up a whole shelter because it's going to be way too much. It's way too hot today, and I just don't, honestly, I don't really feel like doing that. But I'm going to show you it in concept so that way you guys understand how it works. Here I have a heavy meal trash bag. This is a 6 mil trash bag. These are the ones I carry in my kit. They're the heavy duty ones. These things are tough and durable. If I were to use this as a shelter item in an emergency, I would cut this down this seam and fold it over That way it creates a larger surface area for me to sit under in really, really, really bad weather. So that's what I would do personally. I'm not going to cut this because it's not necessary to demonstrate this, but I'm going to show you guys exactly how this works. So basically how this works is this would attach to the edge of this like so. You're going to take your toggle, and your toggle is going to go in here. You're going to want to push that all the way in as tight as possible, securing this down. Even more by pushing it in as hard as I can. Now this is not going anywhere. I could pull on this and it's not going anywhere. So I've attached that, and then what you would do is you would take this line right here and you would take paracord or whatever kind of main line you had, and you would attach that to it like so, to your main, to whatever you're tying it to, whether it be like a tree or whatever you have around you, and you would tie it off on each side, creating a makeshift shelter in an emergency. Now, you could technically try to cut holes in this or something like that to put the bank line through or to put the paracord through, but these are going to tear out as soon as you put any type of pressure on this. This will not tear because it is actually holding on to this specifically. So this will not tear out. As you can see, this is it tied off. This is how it would work. It's holding on there nice and tight. This was stretched out like this above you. This is how it would hold. You could have it from one side to the other, holding it nice and tight above your head. Alright guys, so I figured that would be something fun, like a good, interesting project to practice your skills and have an item that you could use in an emergency if you had to, or just a fun bushcraft project to kind of practice your skills. They're fun to make and they're useful in specific situations. You know, you could probably do other things, but it's just an option. You always want to have as many options as possible. So that's kind of it for this video. Remember to like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends and family. Be safe, stay dangerous, and I'll catch you on the next one.